Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about the newest system that I've added in Rysing's latest update, which is campaigns. Right now, campaigns are something that I'm very excited about because in my mind, if I can achieve my vision for this, it will bring the RPG into Rysing in a true way, right? So let's think of some of our favorite games, right? I can speak for myself. For example, World of Warcraft, right? We have the main quest line and we have a lot of side quests, right? And so, for example, when you go into a small village in WoW or any other RPG, you encounter characters, right? You talk to them. They can give you side quests. They can give you small quest lines that truly make you feel like you belong in the world, right? And that's what I aim to bring with campaigns. So if we go here to campaigns, we can see that the world of Rysing is, or not the world, but the initial zone of Rysing is called Ashfall, right? And you can think of Ashfall like the continent where you start. And inside Ashfall, we have Hearthgate, which is the first town that you as an adventurer begin, right? You first go through campaigns. When you first enter the campaigns, you begin in Hearthgate. And I want to feel like, or I want to make you feel like you're a part of a virtual world. So in Hearthgate, you will have NPCs that you can talk to. They will give you quests. They will point you towards other locations where you can travel to. You can interact with them and you can solve their problems, right? But I want this, as you know, Rysing is a gamification app, right? We bring the RPG into real world, into our lives, right? So with campaigns, let's say you talk to an NPC and they give you a side quest, right? You solve that side quest with real world actions, right? So for example, let's say you're entering Hearthgate and you might see a small child and you start talking to that small child and you start playing around with a hide and seek with them. You know, just a small fun activity. How do you solve that? Well, you might choose a place from a list of places to hide, and in order for you to hide, you had to travel to that place, so you walk a certain amount of steps, right? So the way you complete that hide and seek game is with real world steps, right? And it's these sorts of interactions, for example, a cooking competition, just something fun, you know, where you have steps to complete that campaign or that moment of a cook-off competition where you have to cook real plates. You have to learn to cook, for example. You have to do a small plate for each step in that competition for you to win. Do you get the idea? It's about bringing the RPG into real life. So, it's enough talking. I want to show you the current state. This is just the beginning, right? But you can clearly see, I think, my vision. So, for example, we're in Hearthgate, right? So we see around you, we have someone is nearby. A bell rings once near the tavern, then stops before anyone explains it. So if you click on it, you might trigger a side quest storyline, right? Why is that bell ringing? Who is ringing that bell? You can also talk to the innkeeper. So, for example, this is a little further along in the campaign, so the innkeeper already knows my face, and that's something that I want to implement, right? So, when you first enter Hearthgate, you're an unknown. No one knows you, right? But then you start talking to people and doing favors for them, and they start remembering your face. You know, they might say different things to you. They react to actions you do. So for example, if we speak to the innkeeper again, you see the innkeeper says, back already? Good, the wall seat is still yours, right? So the innkeeper is acknowledging that I have spoken to him in the past. So if I click continue, we now have multiple dialogue options, right? So, for example, any word on Marcus Vale. Who is Marcus? It's something that I'm not going to spoil the storyline for you, but it's someone that the innkeeper talked to me before, right? For me to help Marcus with something. So if I talk to him, you see, nothing yet. The road warden sent a runner last week, but she came back alone. If you're heading that way, keep your eyes open. So this reads like a normal quest line in any RPG, right? So we're gonna need to talk to Marcus, see why he hasn't shown up for about 2 weeks, see what's up, and try to help him if we can, right? So yeah, that's one of the mechanics. You see that we have the discovered leads. So as you talk to NPCs, you get leads. So this is very much similar to you probably remember Skyrim, right? It's a hugely known game. So in Skyrim, when you first entered a city, you would go to the tavern, you would talk to the innkeeper, and you would ask the innkeeper if there's any work, right? And the innkeeper would have these leads for you. So he might mention that someone outside needs help with someone or with something. So that's how you would get these leads. And this is very similar, right? You get leads by talking to people. In this case, we have the innkeeper lead, as you can see at the bottom, which is the walking path, which is the quest line for Marcus, right? So Marcus Vale has not come down from the Warden Roads, right? We will see, we'll go up there and see what's happening with him. And we also have the news board, right? In any RPG, or pretty much a lot of them, you have the news board where you can see side quests and stuff like that. So you have that here as well. So for example, if we click on it, we can see that we have empty hands welcome. Brock asks nothing except that you arrive. So that's another lead. We can mark this lead and we now have access to Brock's Gauntlet. So, which is another campaign, right? So this is another storyline, and that's how we unlock storylines. So for example, let's say that we want to follow up on the innkeeper lead, right? See what's up with Marcus. We click on the lead, and this initiates a travel mechanism, right? So because I want you to feel like this is an actual world in which you're in, right? I want this to be immersive. So you need to travel to destinations. You don't immediately talk to Marcus. You have to go to the place where Marcus is at. In this case, is the Warden Roads, right? So how does traveling work? So travel works in 2 ways, right? We have the time mechanic and we have the step mechanic. So in this case, to travel to Marcus's location, we can either take 2,000 steps or wait 20 minutes, right? And it's not one or the other. So with each step you take, you are decreasing the amount of time, right? So for example, if you take 1,000 steps, you only have to wait 10 minutes, right? So there's this fun mechanism where if you can walk, you will shorten the amount of time, or if not, you can just wait the amount of time, right? So you would set out, and you see here that it uses the iPhone's pedometer or the Apple Watch, or the Apple Health information, whichever one is highest. So you don't need the Apple Watch; you can just use the phone. It's if it's the pedometer, it is live data. If not, Apple Health uses the batching mechanism, so it's not live data, but you will get the information with a slight delay. But that's how you would travel to a different location, right? Okay, so this is the current state. I only have 3 campaigns, right, for you to discover. 2 of them are the Brock's Gauntlet and the Walking Path. The other one you have to discover for yourself, but spoiler alert, it becomes unlocked through completion of one of these 2 campaigns. So there's also this campaign dependency, right, where to unlock a certain campaign, you might need to finish previous ones. Yeah, so that's the current state. Where I want this to go, I want this to feel like an actual world, right? So I want to populate Hearthgate with different NPCs that you can talk to. Not everyone needs to give you a quest, right? But you should be able to just talk to people, know about the culture of Hearthgate, what they do on the daily basis. This, my inspiration for this is more like the Hidden Leaf Village in Naruto, the Ghibli style animations, where just normal everyday task, just people living their lives. I don't want this to feel like a military campaign, right? Where you're just a warrior, you're the chosen one. I don't want you to feel like that. I want this to be like everyday tasks. Eventually, I will probably allow you to branch across different paths. That would be awesome if I could, if I can implement that. Where, for example, if you're more inclined into physical aspects, you might become more like a warrior, not specifically a warrior, but someone who helps the village or the country with more athletic and physical tasks. Whereas you could be a cook, a chef, where you have, I don't know, it'd be great if I could have like professions where you can open your own restaurant if you like to cook in real life. So your quests or your campaigns would be revolved around cooking. That would be awesome. But yeah, I want to see how far I can take this idea, right? So this is a completely optional system, right? If you don't want this system, you can just use the app normally as you would, right? So you still have quests. This campaign has no effect on any of those on any of the other systems in Rysing, right? This is just a new way for you to get experience bonuses, right? So you still have rewards for campaigns. You might reward items. You might reward attribute experience, character experience, etc. So you still have all those rewards. You can just think of this as another path for you to progress your character, right? So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy this new update. It's still in the beginning, okay? So please bear in mind it doesn't have a lot of content yet, but I will slowly add more in the future. I just want to see that I get the foundation right before I start adding stuff. And I also want to make a coherent world. So I just don't want to add like a lot of random stuff, right? I don't want to add like 50 campaigns in the beginning, because I want each campaign to have connection to each other, right? So for example, by completing Marcus's campaign, I want the innkeeper to acknowledge that. I want Marcus to acknowledge that you completed their campaign, so you can talk to him about new stuff, maybe unlocking a new campaign. I want this to have progression. I want this to make sense as a virtual world, basically. So yeah, if you like this idea, please feel free to try out Rysing and try out these campaigns. They unlock at level 5, right? I still have the incorrect name here, which is dungeons. They were previously called dungeons, but now they're campaigns. So they unlock at level 5, so you might need to do a bit of real world farming before you unlock it. So yeah, but once you unlock it, you can feel free to try them out and give me feedback, or give me feedback on any other systems. If you like to try out Rysing, please feel free to click on the link in the description. We are in, or I am, basically, I'm a solo developer. I am in open beta testing, so it has a test flight link for you to click. You can just install it. This is an iOS only app, so there's that. And yeah, feel free to leave any comments. We also have a Discord, which I look at. I'm always on the Discord, basically, so you can talk to me there about any feedback, any bugs you might find. Discord is the best way to reach me in most of the times in real time. So yeah, if you like this idea, please let me know. If you don't, please let me know as well. Let's talk, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.